Cut it.
So, just to be clear, because you're talking to a complete complete idiot here, I bring my money over. It's got to stay in New Zealand for 3 years, and I can have a week's holiday every 3 years. And then after 3 years, am I given residency and I get my money back?
Well, actually, technically speaking, once you've been approved in principle and you've made the investments and you've transferred the funds into New Zealand and made those investments and provide proof to Immigration New Zealand, you're actually going to be granted resident visas already. So you can technically
Right.
live and reside in New Zealand permanently if you wish.
NZ Ahead, coming to you from Taranaki, New Zealand.
Cut it.
Fred, welcome to the NZ Ahead podcast. I am thrilled to have you for the first time as our guest from New Zealand Shore's Immigration Advisors to be here on the podcast with us. Welcome.
Thank you so much for having me. It's honestly a privilege and a pleasure.
We're going to be talking today about the active investor visa, the one where you need to stack some money to come into New Zealand to be eligible for. It's also known as the golden visa. We're just going to jump straight in, Fred. What is the active investor visa?
Yeah, well, I mean, like you said, large amounts of cash is required. It is considered as a premium residency by investment pathway into New Zealand. I mean, it's certainly designed to attract higher net worth individuals who want to take an active role in the economy by investing into New Zealand businesses, managed funds, essentially designed to generate high business productivity and job growth within the country. And for the investors themselves, this visa category is a direct route to residency, allowing individuals and their immediate family members to live, work, and study in New Zealand indefinitely, with a pathway to permanent residency and eventually New Zealand citizenship if desired.
Right. I've got to ask the big, major, number one question. How much do you need?
Yes. So there's basically two investment categories. One is called growth category and one is called balance category. So under the growth category, you'd need a minimum of at least $5 million New Zealand dollars. And under the balance category, it's 10 million New Zealand dollars.
Wow.
So significant amounts we're talking. It's not, unfortunately, for just for every man out there.
Fred, tell me, I mean, this is just like between me and you now. What sort of job do you do that you've got that you can lay your hands on $10 million?
Yeah, look, I mean, in terms of the people that I've encountered, I've worked with investment advisors themselves who handle obviously large amounts and transactions for their clients. I've come across individuals who have done very well in terms of investing in cryptocurrency. So it is actually a wide range. And I've also encountered, say, high net worth banking investment fund managers, amongst other things. So yeah, it's a wide range. It does surprise me in terms of different people across all walks of life having this amount of money readily available to invest. So yeah, it really can come in all shapes and forms. And normally, as far as the visa category is concerned, so we would need to provide evidence of the source of funds. So it would obviously need to be genuinely earned and traceable for Immigration New Zealand to review.
Right. Okay. Yeah, because I've got some questions about that. But first of all, let me just tell you, my son ages ago, like years ago, said, "Oh, you should get into crypto." And I'm like, "No, don't what you're doing with silly money, like all online. Don't be stupid."
There's online content saying, "What was I doing when I was 5? I should have been investing in property and buying crypto." So yes, I've missed that boat too. So don't worry at all, Liz. I always pinch myself thinking, should have had the foresight to, but anyways.
Anyway, we're here and we're very happy, aren't we, Fred? We're happy.
Definitely, that's right.
That's all that matters.
We're in New Zealand and we're happy, so
we are.
That's right.
Yeah. So going back to the visa, why is it called the golden visa, by the way? Why do they call it the golden visa? Do you know?
Yeah, well, I suppose it's really just to again offer that opportunity for investors and their families to be able to permanently reside in New Zealand. And it's often called golden is because there's sort of lower entry requirements now, and it's quite accessible to people with, certainly for higher net worth individuals. And it just offers that sort of long-term long-term security for
Yeah.
people as a plan B. So we know the world is crazy out there at the moment. There is so many happening in so many fronts. There's obviously the war in the Middle East. There's the Ukraine war that's still ongoing, and obviously geopolitical and political turmoil that's happening across the world. So New Zealand offers a safe haven, and being able to apply under this pathway with a sort of simpler requirements and then have the right to live and reside in New Zealand is why it's often called as a golden visa pathway.
Right. Okay. So can all my family be included? So say I've got 4 kids and I've got $5 million and I want to bring them all over under my $5 million. Can I do that? And if not, who does it include? How can we include them?
Yeah, so you can include your immediate family members. So that's including partners or spouse, and then dependent children up to the age of 24 and under.
Right.
So the dependent children need to be single, have no children of their own, and financially dependent on the principal applicants to be able to be included. So yeah, it's quite a generous visa category, and yeah. So unfortunately, so a lot of people ask, well, can I bring my parents, for example, amongst other things? Unfortunately, not under that visa category. But eventually, once you obtain residency, for example, options are unlocked to be able to bring in people like, again, parents and things like that. So
Yeah.
it's focused on the immediate family members.
Yeah, we've done a couple of other videos actually with Charlotte where she talks about bringing ways to get over,
absolutely.
bringing your parents over. So I'll put all those links in the description below. So Fred, again, so say here I am, right, with my family of 4. Now we've all sold our houses. We're all doing really well for ourselves. We've all sold our houses and we've got like $1 million each for our house. Can we pull that money together and go, right, okay, we've got the 5 million between us. Can we do that or not?
Typically, we need to show proof of ownership for the principal applicant. So if the pooled funds is owned by the principal applicant and the secondary applicant by way of a spouse, for example, then yes, it is possible, as long as we can include documents tracing ownership. And again, going back to the source of funds being legally obtained.
Okay, right. So that's that one done. What other questions did I ask? So do you get many of these visas, by the way? Do many people do this in New Zealand?
Yeah, well, admittedly, for us, it is certainly a burgeoning visa category. There's certainly been a lot of interest since the settings were tweaked from April last year. So at the moment, it is certainly generating a lot of interest for New Zealand as a whole. So at the moment, since April last year, there's about 538 applications that have already been approved in principle. And if you're sort of wondering what the numbers are in terms of how many people are applying for growth and how many are applying under balance, so growth category has certainly been more attractive to the investors, 450 versus 86 in the balance category. So yeah, huge numbers.
Yeah.
And as of earlier last month, 247 applications have been approved in principle, 197 in growth and 50 in the balance category. And Immigration New Zealand typically releases stats around applications they receive and the investments totaling from this visa category. And at the moment, they've said the total committed investments roughly amount to 1.48 billion New Zealand dollars into the economy. So it is very much a win-win situation, I would think, for New Zealand, and obviously those families looking for that sort of plan B option. So yeah, plenty of applications and interest, certainly more so than previous investor categories that have been in place. So there's been some shape of form of investor categories here in New Zealand, and it's only up until recently that it's really garnered a lot of interest. And if you're sort of wondering, Liz, where those particular applications are coming from, so I can give you an idea. So top 6, number 1, the United States of America. So to some people that is quite surprising, but to the people that we're working with, not necessarily. Obviously, there's a lot of political turmoil that is happening in the United States at the moment. I would say widening gaps between, even households in terms of their political affinity.
Yeah.
I'm sure you'll be aware, also having conversations with people within that Northern America hemisphere. And as you would expect, rounding out the top three would be China and Hong Kong. So those countries have always typically garnered a lot of investor interest into New Zealand. And what's really changed for them is there's no longer English language requirements. So before you needed to pass or prove your English language ability in some shape or form. But again, those settings being tweaked, they've removed the English language requirements, which has really opened up an opportunity for a lot of people. And then just rounding out top six is Germany, Taiwan, and Singapore. So plenty of Asian countries in there. And then obviously with the situation in the United States. And then I suppose Germany is up there, I suppose being close proximity to the Ukraine war. A lot of people are, looking at options elsewhere. So it's nice to be here in New Zealand on the other side of the world. I'm sure you would feel the same. Obviously, many pros and cons, but I'd like to think that these people are making the move.
You are here because you love New Zealand.
You might be moving to New Zealand,
Living in New Zealand, or you might just spend your days dreaming of visiting this gorgeous country. Because we love New Zealand as much as you do, we have compiled a short and very unique 5-day video series showcasing life in New Zealand, what it's really like. These videos are real, they are exclusive, and best of all, they're absolutely free. So if you would like to view New Zealand from the inside out and find out what life is really like down here, sign up now, and every day for 5 days we will send you a personal 3-minute video showcasing some brilliant aspect of life in New Zealand. You are gonna love it. Go to www.itsadrama.com/I-love-NZ. We can't wait to share those videos with you. Okay, let's get back on with the show.
I'd like to think that these people are making the move because the pros outweigh the cons, in my opinion, and their opinion too.
Yeah, it's so interesting. I mean, this is going to sound really ignorant, and please forgive me because I probably should know the answer and I just don't. But why is there from China such an interest in New Zealand to invest in New Zealand? Why is that?
Yeah, I think it's well, from what I've heard from the people that I've been working with, again, it's that sort of ability to have a plan B option if things don't quite materialize in terms of security in China. Obviously, there's always a perpetual political situation in China. Obviously, all of the geopolitics that is happening around that region of the world. And yeah, just having that additional ability to be able to permanently reside elsewhere, just in case things don't quite go accordingly.
Yeah.
And yeah, just long-term thinking for children is often what we see for Chinese-based clients, or even in Asia, just for their children to have an opportunity to reside in an English-speaking country that is, quite modern and good education systems, and just the ability to live freely and be able to express themselves is what attracts a lot of applications from China. That's for sure.
Are you the main person that does all these visas? Is it you that does them all?
We have a team within New Zealand Shores, and yeah, I'm one of the people that do work with the investors directly. So as I mentioned earlier, we work with people through all walks of life. So it is quite a fascinating topic for me, and of course, with these sort of higher net worth individuals, of course, it's essential to be able to connect with different types of people. So it's something that I feel as if I'm quite privileged working with different types of people under this category.
And I think it's wonderful that it's you that's doing that. That's why I asked, because you're very professional and you know your stuff, obviously.
Most of the time I try to be.
Yeah, but you're also really personable, and you're able, I can feel, this is the first time I've ever met you, but immediately I feel like we're friends. It's like, I really like you. Yeah. And so I think that's important, for any advisor, immigration advisor, is just to be able to have that relationship. So
absolutely, I agree. And I mean, it's hard enough to trust somebody with, obviously your investments, your hard-earned money,
Yeah.
and of course navigating this visa category, as with any visa pathways into New Zealand, as you would be aware, Liz. There's plenty of nuances that you need to be aware of. That's not necessarily just available, on the fine print on the immigration website. So, yeah, it's again, I view it as a privilege to be able to help people, regardless of what their intentions are. But typically, what I see is, again, most people are coming out to New Zealand or wish to migrate permanently to again be able to live in a safe, welcoming, and inclusive environment, and that's quite far away from all of the strife that's going on around the world at the moment.
Yes, for sure, for sure. So, say I've got my 5 million, and I'm gonna come over. And how long do I have to, not have to, but like, do I live in the country? How long will it take me to get residency?
Yes.
Let's start with how long do I stay in New Zealand to like?
Yeah. So so again, going back to the different categories that are available under the growth category, it's a very generous 21 days only over a 3-year period. So you can literally have a holiday
Wow.
for 1 week,
1 week
in
a
every
year.
year for 3 years, and then meet the requirements. So again, going back to the the openness and the accessibility of this category for a lot of people, that's one of the really main points that attract people under the growth category is just the minimum amount of time that you need to reside in New Zealand to meet those requirements. For the balance category, it is a little bit longer. It's 105 days over a 5-year period. And under the balance category, there's an ability to, if you invest a little bit more, you can shorten the time that you intend to stay in New Zealand. So again, that's an option that's available for people. And then going back to the sort of investment period, so as I said, for the growth category, the funds need to be invested for at least 3 years. And under the balance category, it needs to be invested for at least 5 years.
Right.
Yeah.
So just to be clear, because you're talking to a complete complete idiot here, I bring my money over. It's got to stay in New Zealand for 3 years, and I can have a week's holiday every 3 years. And then after 3 years, am I given residency and I get my money back?
Well, actually, technically speaking, once you've been approved in principle and you've made the investments and you've transferred the funds into New Zealand and made those investments and provide proof to Immigration New Zealand, you're actually going to be granted resident visas already. So you can technically
Right.
live and reside in New Zealand permanently if you wish during that 3-year investment period. But I know a lot of people would like the flexibility of, well, I've got things to maintain in my home country. I've got businesses to maintain. So what they actually do is they just send their family over to come and live in New Zealand. And they're already going to hold resident status. So there's different categories of residency in New Zealand. So again, once you've been approved under this category, you'll hold the resident visa. And that will in itself allow you to live and reside and work permanently in New Zealand if you wish. Now, after that 3-year investment period, you have the ability to convert your resident visa to what's called a permanent resident visa. So a resident visa has conditions attached to it that you would need to meet. So for example, in the case of the active investor, you need to hold the investments for that 3-year period, for example, under the growth category. And then you can have those conditions removed and apply for a permanent resident visa. And the difference is that the permanent resident visa is indefinite and cannot expire, whereas the resident visa has what they call travel conditions, whereby you can travel in and out of New Zealand for a certain period. But if you leave the country after you pass that travel period date, then that visa itself can expire. And that's why most people will then transition into a permanent resident visa, so that if they decide to, say, reside in the United States for the next 15 years and then want to be able to come back to New Zealand anytime, if they hold a permanent resident visa, they are going to be able to do so. It's an indefinite visa allowing them to travel in and out of New Zealand, and it will never expire. And there's no more sort of presence commitments or investment commitments once they hold that residency status.
Sounds great, doesn't it?
It
Sounds.
does. It all sounds
You sell it to
lovely.
me. Yeah, and do you know what? I was just thinking as you were talking. I was thinking when people first say 5 million New Zealand dollars, you're like, what? But actually, we've just come back from the UK, and so I think that converts to about I don't know, but maybe about 2 million, 1.8
Mm,
million
yeah.
pounds. And
And
I see
people have that in property typically, I
they
would say.
do. They do. They do. Yeah. So I'm not saying that I've got 5 million, but I'm just saying maybe if I work really hard for it, I could.
Yeah, I mean, look, I mean, I certainly don't have that myself. Something I'm working towards, but
Yeah.
no, certainly for a lot of people, that is not necessarily a life-changing amount of money based on what they
No.
already have.
Yeah.
And so, again, just the flexibility that it offers is again the reason why it's really attracting a lot of interest at the moment. Um,
Can they go for citizenship? Can once you get permanent residency?
Yeah, so New Zealand citizenship is possible. However, it does require an even longer and more presence commitments in New Zealand. So, to be able to apply for residency, for New Zealand citizenship, you need to hold either a resident visa or permanent resident visa for a duration of 5 years in total. And you need to have stayed in the country for a much longer period. So not just 21 days or 105 days or 5 years, but actually I think 80% of your time in New Zealand in a 1 year period over the next 5 years.
Right.
So for some
Right.
people, that is the goal because the New
Mm.
Zealand passport is one of the most powerful passports in the world, thankfully.
Yeah.
And that opens up a lot of things for a lot of people, just being able to travel in and out of countries without needing to apply for visas, etc. That is the goal for some people, but for some people merely a permanent resident visa is enough, so they can retain their home country citizenship and their passports and have the permanent resident visa attached to their passports, and that's as good as if holding a New Zealand citizenship as well, for
Mm.
example. So you have the sort of same rights as a New Zealand citizen while on a permanent resident visa. You can buy a house, you can access education, healthcare, you can vote. All of those things are accessible, even actually on a resident visa. So um, it's not necessarily the end goal for a lot of people, but it can be.
Mm. Do you know what? We've been here 17 years, and I remember when we were coming close to like the 5 years to get our citizenship, and there was a bunch of people that had moved over at the same time as us, and they were like, "Oh, we're not going to bother. It's 350. I can't remember what the price was, but it was something like 350 New Zealand." And they were like, "Oh no, what's the point? Like, we're not going to bother." And we
Yeah.
went for it. And so we're all full citizens now. But I just nearly started crying when you said that about, the New Zealand passport is just like one of the most powerful in the world.
Yes.
Because it is, because you walk through the airport and you get your little passport and you've got that little silver fern on it. And it's
That's
just
right.
like,
Yeah.
yes, just
You know,
let me through.
Exactly, and it stands out because it is a black passport and it's beautiful. It's got that
Yes,
silver
it's
fern, like you mentioned.
beautiful.
I know a lot of countries
Gorgeous.
just incorporate either a bluish color or a red maroonish
Yeah,
color. But yeah, we've got the
we're
all powerful, all
special.
black passport.
Yes, exactly. We're special. Right. Have I missed anything? Is there anything else that I should have asked you or talked about?
Yeah, I suppose just to give a little bit more information, Liz, about what those investments could be, if you don't mind
Yes,
me
good
just
point. Good point.
providing
Yes.
some um, information about that. So, under the growth category, there's two investments types that people can go for, and one is called direct investment, and the other is approved managed funds. So, essentially, a direct investment is basically into a privately held business into New Zealand, but requires approval from Invest New Zealand. So a lot of people under the growth category opt for the approved managed funds instead of the direct investments, so that they don't have to necessarily do all of that homework to be able to make those investments. And the reason being is the approved managed funds, you're basically investing into a private equity or venture capital, and they have already been pre-approved by Invest New Zealand. And last time I looked, there's about 65 currently listed in the Invest New Zealand website of where you could actually put your money into. So that from my experience, has been far more accessible to investors than doing their own research and homework. But again, that's available as an option. Now, growth investments are typically considered as higher risk, whereas under the investments for the balance category, there's a little bit more options. So direct investments and improved managed funds are also available under the balance category, but you also have access to bonds, listed equities, philanthropy as well, and property development. So for bonds, these are New Zealand government bonds, or by a local authority or New Zealand registered banks. Listed equities are the ones listed on the public stock exchange, like the New Zealand Stock Exchange. Philanthropy is donations to New Zealand registered charities, and then property development could be residential, commercial, or industrial property in New Zealand. They must be new or existing, but with a purpose to improve, and cannot be used for personal use. So, for example, you can't be investing in property that you intend to live in, for example.
Okay.
Does that raise any questions for you, Liz?
Yeah, well, no, I'm just glad that you told me that, because I was thinking, where does the money go? So, yeah, do you think it makes New Zealand a better country, having all this money put into it? Is it making the country better?
Well, I mean, it's intended to, again, generate sort of business productivity and job growth. I mean, the more money invested, the intention is there'll be more jobs that follow. So in my opinion, I believe so. Having all of this cash pumped into the economy is a good thing. And of course, investors come to New Zealand, and if they decide to live with their families, they buy property, they use goods and services in New Zealand. So I think, and obviously, more often than not, the people that come to New Zealand, those individuals have a lot of expertise also to bring into the community. So, yes, in my opinion, it is of great benefit to New Zealand. As things stand, that's certainly what I'm seeing. Certainly, the individuals I've been working with are, I believe, would be long-term assets into New Zealand.
I wish I knew more about this, Fred, so we could have an intelligent conversation. But I hope I'm not asking you like such basic questions. But these are the questions that go in my head. It's like, where does the money go, and does it make it more attractive? Is it true? I'm going to let you go in a minute, because honestly, I could just talk to you about this for ages. But is it true that Australia have closed their golden visa down, that you can't do that in Australia anymore?
Yeah, they have. So I believe they closed that sometime either last year or 2 years ago. So it's actually funneling a lot of interest into New Zealand instead, which is, in my opinion, obviously great for New Zealand. And I think that's quite possibly why also New Zealand has relaxed those rules, is to take advantage of the interest. Because from what I've seen, Liz, again, Australia is closed at the moment. I think they are looking to reopen it, but there's nothing available at this point in time. Correct me. Well, somebody will correct me if I'm wrong on that, but I believe, things are in play, but not open at the moment. And in Canada as well, I think has quite restrictive investor opportunities. Like, people need to actually need to know how to speak French in some areas, and so that in itself is a barrier for a lot of people. And then there's obviously the United States. I think Trump has released his golden visa as well. Again, with some things that are happening in the United States, people sort of prefer a little bit more stability, perhaps. And New Zealand's quite neutral in terms of the political stance. And again, always so far on this side of the world. So that's always a plus for people. So and in terms of the I just wanted to throw out there, Liz, as well, because you might be wondering, this is all about questions about the money, but how much does it actually cost the said investor beyond the investments? So the application fee for this is quite high in terms of other visa categories across visa applications to Immigration New Zealand, but relatively accessible. I'd like to think if somebody's got 5 million or 10 million to invest, it's 27,470 is the Immigration New Zealand application fee.
Right. That's a drop in the ocean to them, isn't it, Fred? A drop in the ocean. I
believe so. It hasn't seemed to be an issue so far.
Round it up to 30 and keep the change, why don't you?
Right, that's right. Why don't we?
Oh, it's been so interesting to talk about this, because I've always wondered, just like countries around the world, if you were a billionaire or a millionaire, whatever, where could you go? And why wouldn't you want to come to New Zealand? I mean, come on, why wouldn't you want to come to New Zealand? It's paradise, isn't it?
Yeah,
It's absolutely beautiful.
I think we're both, I believe, migrants, Liz, to this country.
We are.
And I often feel that people who are already living here sort of take it for granted. And we always sort of need a slap into the face and reality that, hey, we're living in paradise and comparative to the rest of the world. So we should thank our lucky stars.
We should. We absolutely should. Oh, Fred, thank you so much for joining me today. If someone wants to reach out, if they're sitting here watching this and thinking, yes, that's me, I want to do that, what's the best way to contact you? Obviously, we'll put all your details down below, but just say it out onto the podcast now. What is the best way to contact you?
Yeah, so there's multitude of ways to reach out to us. I mean, if you wish to contact us by phone, it's +647 929 2280. Via email, it's info@New Zealand, spelled in full, shores, SHORES.com. And those would be the main methods of reaching out to us. But thank you, Liz, for putting up the information on your page as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And don't forget, if you're listening and or watching this, we have New Zealand Shores is part of our private NZ Ahead Slack community. They've got their own channel, their own immigration channel over there. Charlotte and Fabian are over there. And I'm going to drag Fred over there now because he's got to be my friend over on Slack. So again, if you want to find out more about that Slack community, you can take the free 5-day video guide. And I will put the link in the description below. Fred, I'm sure this is not the last time I'll speak to you. There's going to be lots more opportunities to get together and talk about.
So. Yeah, and I'm looking forward to
New Zealand. Yeah, me too. It's been lovely to meet you. Thank you so much for joining us on the podcast, and I'll speak to you again soon.
Thank you for your time, Liz. Appreciate it.
Bye-bye. Bye.
70,000 homes were sold in New Zealand in the year of 2024. So I thought it would be a really good idea to invite my best friend Angie, who is a real estate agent, to come over to the house and tell me all about what buying and selling a house in New Zealand entails.
I remember an agent saying to me, they'll take 200.
Yeah, well, she wasn't working for the vendor, was she?
No. What, was she working for me?
No, she was working for herself. She wanted a sale.
Oh, okay, right, so she just wanted the sale.
She wasn't a good agent.
In this week's episode, you're going to witness a beautiful conversation between two old friends about what selling and buying a house in New Zealand looks like. You're also going to see one of those friends being a bit embarrassed.